Hello, this is the Activity 7 Insider Threat presentation by Mitchell and Hema. For our first case, we covered the Maryland identity theft. This theft was done by Mark A. Bell, 49-year-old. He stole information from the District of Columbia Department of Youth Rehabilitation Services, or DYRS for short. And this was at least 1,200 fraudulent federal income tax returns, which is pretty huge. That's a huge amount. There was over 20 people involved, some being his co-workers, some being people he knew. He only got sentenced to 4 years in prison, although he also had to pay back all the money he stole, of course. And this is kind of funny that he only got 4 years because another person that he worked with got 5 minimum. If they learned a lesson from this, it'd be don't steal from the IRS, because that's generally a pretty bad idea. Now, what were their motivations for this? Money, essentially. They had easy access to the identities of thousands of people who went through the system or that were currently in it. They would make a lot of money from this. And, it would be hard to track because a lot of the people were incarcerated at the time of them doing this. And, other people pushing him to do it. A lot of people made money off this, being that there was over 20 people in the scheme itself. So it wasn't just him. Now, the technology used for this was just a simple computer. He was a program manager at the department. That gave him access to the databases that contained all the information he needed to commit identity theft. This information, of course, included names, date of birth, social security numbers of anybody that was presently or previously in the system itself. So they could be any age, just as long as they were in the system at one point, they'd have all this information. This was used to file for these fraudulent tax claims, and they did it by just filing through somebody's property. Now, how sophisticated were these? Very low level technology-wise, and a little higher level for, tax purposes. That's a hard system to understand, but these were government people who were probably used to going through taxes. Once again, this is more of abuse of power than a technology crime, because him being a system administrator or program manager, he had access to all the databases. The next case we're covering is the Enervest sabotage. This was done by Ricky Joe Mitchell, a 34-year-old, who did this by sabotaging Enervest systems in response to him being fired. He was a network engineer responsible for server maintenance at Enervest. This would make him at a great position to commit the sabotage. He's actually serving up to 10 years for the sabotage because it pretty much completely ruined people's lives and livelihoods. Enervest was actually off of service, no service or anything, for 30 days. This attack just, devastated their systems. How sophisticated were these attacks? I mean, the servers went off for an entire month, so they were very devastating, but not very sophisticated. Since it was an insider attack, these often are easier to do. All you had to do was log in, reset all the factories, or the factory settings on the servers. This wouldn't be, a difficult thing to do if you knew how. So I guess there is some sophistication there, but overall, not too bad. It could have just been a press of a button. It could have been a set of commands you had to run. Those specifics were not stated. And this attack was actually so devastating that it deleted all data associated with it. So, the company lost all of that as well. It wasn't just their services were offline. Data was actually just completely deleted.